Anyway, okay. Let's transition to the game machine. Who was that? Was that a cheer? That was a cheer. Thank you very much, Raisin Orden. Let's... Okay, I also need to not show you my quest tab, because that would be bad. This is going to be hard.
Why didn't you choose Godkrieg? But anyway.
Well, the reason I didn't choose Godkrieg, as Quadico just asked, you should be able to hear Quadico now, because I've got game sound on. Say hello, Quadico.
Hello, Quadico. Got to do it, guys.
You almost caught yourself. Yeah, no,
I did.
I feel like I have to use Leonard, otherwise I'm not. You know, it's a whole new set of things. I kind of know why I'm. Oh my god, I'm having Zed fighting on. I'm having some horrible Zed fighting on the walls.
Ooh, you are.
No, don't actually know why. That almost looks like there's two white runs. I will have to look at my mods. Something is not quite right. Stop. Okay. Right. Yeah, I'm a GPU thing here. Right. So, the basic problem I'm having is my current mod setup is somewhat... Is the strange block issue for today's video resolved? No, that's kind of what we're here to discuss. I've played a lot further on, and there are still problems. Going on, but I've avoided going into as many like direct fights as I can. That fits Leonard's character anyway. But, yeah. Okay, why is it Mortal Enemies Smilodon patch? Why is that in the middle of an active download? That's what I want to know. I've got a download happening, and I didn't... Not 100% sure why. So, My feeling is some of the issues I'm having are Mortal Enemies related. I'm using Mortal Enemies SE Rival Remix No Run Walk changes. I'm wondering what could cause those problems. I did install Ruins Clutter Improved not so long ago, and I've not been back here since I did that. That was to fix candles and stuff. I'm wondering if that is...
Okay.
My life is but to serve you, my lord.
Who's that? Diaga Duma. Thank you for the resub. Right. That could be... I mean, that's the thing I've installed that's had texture changes. Driven Mantis. Thank you very much. Just letting us know he's here. Load Ruins and Clutter before SMIM. Do you think? I sort of assumed that the other way round would be true. But I mean, I might be... maybe I'm... I use Mortal Enemies 2.0 with a lot of the same mods. So, yeah, that's the thing. What I'm... Can we turn your volume and mic up a little? Really? Okay. I mean, we can, but... I'm worried my mic's going to start blasting... There you go. I've turned it up now. All right.
My life is but to serve you, my lord.
Okay. Leonard probably won't recruit Inigo until there's a story motivation to do so. Leonard won't do anything unless there's a story motivation to do so. And you're not getting spoilers, guys. Nice try, but you're not getting spoilers. Try Vigor. It's like Wildcat and Mortal Enemies. No. I don't think the problem is Wildcat at the moment, although I might be... I know one of the things that it might be is the changes to block in Wildcat. It might be. Somebody just said, though, that they're having no problems with Mortal Enemies 2.0. I'm using a different version of Mortal Enemies. Mortal Enemies 2.0 is a test version, and that's what I'm really thinking of testing. So let's have a look. Block, 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 block. I'm wondering if it's something to do with the fact that I don't have any block skill, but I was having all sorts of problems when I was trying to block. Basic. Do I have Dance of Death yet? No. Perk spoilers. Look at the left blank. No, I'm not looking at anything at the moment. I'm trying to identify why I'm having issues. So what was happening was I was moving forward and I was trying to do block bash. Like that. Block bash. It's a very effective technique. You know, your enemy's there. He's got... Excuse me. He's got his block up like this. So you just edge forward and then you oh, I did it again and it didn't do it. It's not doing it. I just did block bash like that. It's just it's really a dead easy move. Now, I don't know if it's something to do with Mortal Enemies, Wildcat, or whether Skyrim Special Edition is a little less responsive on... It seems a lot more responsive now. Of course, when I've got enemies in front of me, it might be less so. No, I did it again. It's weird. Occasionally, when I'm doing this, I'm just running forward. I press block bash. And it's not registering either hit. I'm having the same issue with combat. Not being able to attack, draw, player character animation mods. I'm not using player character animation mods. So I'm not using a cooldown. I was wondering, is it a cooldown? But okay, thank you for the sub. That's a new sub. New sub. I was wondering,
yes,
but I can.
My life is but to serve you, my lord.
I've just did it 5 times there until it did once. And now it's doing it loads. Doing it again. Now I'm out of stamina, so I can imagine it being stamina, but it wasn't stamina. So this is the problem. This is the problem I'm having. This thing where I cannot trust. DOD mod author said so. Who's DOD? DOD is completely replaced. Oh,
Dance of Death.
Dance of Death. Okay, I wouldn't know. Did I update to the latest version of Skse? No, I'm not yet. I'll get round to that. Script issue. Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is there something in the game now that's intercepting my block? There you go. 3rd time I got it. I'm doing. There you go. 3 times this time. It's block bash. It's no problems now. But you see why I'm having issues when I cannot rely on it. When I there you go, I just did it again. Nothing. And I never had this problem with Richard. I never had this problem with Richard. I go for Wildcat as the source of the problem. That would be unfortunate. Because of course, when your enemy's just running at you like this, the best way to knock their shield down is to just block bash. You just block bash and it knocks them and then you can attack them. I just pressed attack twice and only the second one registered. And in the video today, you probably even noticed an area where I'm just going, I can't hit, why can't I hit, why can't I hit? I'm literally spamming all the buttons and nothing's happening. Nothing, absolutely nothing. And it took switching to a dagger to fix it. And then it was the weapon switch. So yeah. Doesn't the Wildcat have the MCM options to disable bash? That I don't actually know, to be honest. Disable dynamic combat.
There's a time block one that you can disable, but
Do you think it's that?
I don't know. But someone said to try it, but again, this is all just speculation.
All right, disable dynamic combat. Whatever's this, various effects applied, injury, stagger, stamina cost. Disable. Right. Okay. Disable attacks of opportunity, backstabs. Disable injuries. Disabled timed block. All right. So we've disabled timed block then. Nope, still doing it. There you go. I did it. It's like sometimes I can get this. And then sometimes I can't. And it's just really odd. It shouldn't affect movement and bashing. Well, the problem one isn't the movement. It's just the non-responsive nature of bashing. Mind you, that's... Okay, who is that? Zatura HD, thank you for the resub. It could be Ordinator. It has a timed block function. Maybe it's bugged if you don't have the perk in the block tree. It's your keyboard. You don't block with the keyboard, mate. You block with the mouse. This thing is a Logitech G903. It's a pretty damned good mouse. It's a bloody top of the line gaming mouse. Timed block is disabled automatically when you have Ordinator installed. Okay, so I should probably disable that in Wildcat anyway, is what you're saying, right? Should I... It's actually behaving a little better now. It could just be my imagination. No, there it goes. I did twice and it only did once. I block with shield, not with the mouse. Ha 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 ha. No, I'd know if it was the mouse, if the buttons were just not working anymore. And as I said, there was one point in today's episode, you'll see it, where I was literally unable to swing the sword. I was busy doing this, trying to hit, and the sword was not moving. And I ended up having to switch to the dagger, and then switch back, and then it fixed it. Do I have the Smilodon patch? Smilodon patch for what? And I did it again. There you go. No, no, no. It's... And a second time. And... Oh, again, lots of times there. Oh, wait. No, no. Oh, no, there you go. 3 times, nothing. And there, twice there. 3 times I got the block. Now it's happening all the time. Disabled timed block in the Ordinator settings. Alright. At least I know I'm getting it. Ordinator perks. Timed block squelch message. That only disables the message. It doesn't... Okay. No, this is just messages. This is just... I mean, I can squelch the message. I'm not sure that will actually help, though. It's just, yeah, I'm not... And it feels, because of this, because I can't rely on, you know... I just did it then. Block, block. And again. This time it worked. You see what this is? This is not something I want to worry about mid-combat. I don't want to... The last moment you want unreliable attack mechanics is when you dash in and try and do something to someone. That is the last time. Yeah. From the Wildcat capacity notes, time blocking. Taking the Ordinator perk, time blocking automatically turns off blocking in Wildcat. So manually disabling timed block is not necessary. Alright. Well, that's if you take timed block, right? I haven't taken it yet. Do you have the standing still to block bash? Do you have to be standing still to block bash? No, you shouldn't. I mean, I'm doing it there. See, I mean, I'm not taking my finger off the button. And there I did it twice. It worked on the second one. See, the block's working while moving. And I don't have a timed block perk. I did it, nothing happened there. Now, the thing is I have this suspicion I'm doing the timed block clicks too quickly. That's what I'm thinking. If I go forward, block, bash, see... seems to work. But when I like that, now, yeah, it is. I think it's to do with how fast the. I have a feeling this is a game thing. I have a feeling this is a game thing. As I said, it's not the mouse. This is a brand new mouse. I actually returned a mouse because it had a faulty button. I think I may, with Skyrim Special Edition, have to get used to the idea that it requires like a... You can see how slowly I'm doing it there. I'm used to, with Richard, I would dance around and then I would just dive forward and smash them like that. That was like a go-to move when someone was... If someone was moving... I can't believe I just looted lavender. This is a mod test and I'm looting stuff. I don't think the game stutters when I type block bash. I keep seeing that comment. I don't think it does. The game pauses. The game pauses and it zooms. It zooms like that. But if you listen to the sound, that's... See? I don't think it's... Let's see if we can find someone who's moving around. Yeah, we can try it without any mods. Look at the windmill. Windmill's still turning. No stutter. And now that I'm doing it slowly, now that I'm doing it really slowly, it's working. This... Oh, that didn't. I thought I was doing it pretty slowly. It might just require that I retrain how I play. I'm just so used to Skyrim, the normal version, that maybe Skyrim SE has slight issues with detection of mouse that quickly. Stamina's not the problem. Stamina's definitely not the problem, because there were loads of times it was happening when I was full stamina, and even when I'm out of stamina. See, it just did it there, and I had stamina, and nothing happened. Yeah, I think it's when I do it quickly. Like there, I'm doing it almost as fast as I can possibly do it. I'm doing like right, left as fast as I can, and the faster I go, the less it is. It's that, isn't it? It's that. Try it with a shield. Okay, I'm a torch. Oh right, yeah. Well, to be honest with you, like I said, I'm using this as a test save, so I'm not telling you what I've done to this particular save. No, it's still unreliable. It's still unreliable. It really is. What combat mod are you testing? None at the moment. None at the moment. We're testing the base game.
Sub.
What was... I had a sub. I had a sub! Che! Hello, Che! Hello, Che. Hey, Che. See that? I got it. I honestly, right now, unless it's just the fact that I've got a mod installed, I'm tempted to believe this is an issue with the vanilla game. And I'm so used to Skyrim. And I can tell you that works with Skyrim because that's pretty much how I played Richard. I would just... I mean, Richard's go-to move was slam him in the face with a shield. It could almost have been his only attack method at some points. Just slam him in the face with a shield. Try an unmodded profile. I don't have any unmodded profiles because I don't have any profiles set up at the moment. But I can try uninstalling some mods. That, of course, is an option. Now, the other problem I'm having is power attacks. And this is why I'm thinking of changing mortal enemies. I know in Skyrim, power attacks always had you moving a huge amount if you did a forward power attack. But I feel like with mortal enemies, it's so hard to control. And I go just shooting past enemies or even through them. So like, standing power hits are not so bad. But like, for example, if I'm running forward and I do a power hit, I can't adjust even slightly. I'm finding it very... Even like there, if I'm traveling side, I'm trying to turn a little bit and I've got no turning circle whatsoever while slashing. It feels like there. Like what I'm doing now is I'm hitting with the sword and then I'm doing that, right? Watch what happens. Start the hit with sword and look how slowly it really reduces the amount you can turn. And the idea behind mortal enemies is to stop the enemies from doing that auto-aim thing where they try and attack you, you dodge, and they just always hit you. So I love the idea of this. Low-key Coyote. Not, you know, mostly because it feels awful when you see an enemy, attack and you step to the side and then somehow he's still hitting you anyway. It always feels fairly annoying. So mortal enemies is a good idea, but it seems to make it so that here's what I feel when I'm hitting with this sword. I feel like I'm swinging a sledgehammer. It kind of feels like it's got that much momentum that it's not letting me even remotely turn. And swords are not that heavy. Swords are pretty light. So whilst I don't mind having a reduced turning circle, it's not how much of a reduction is, it's the speed. And that's what it does, is it has its effect by reducing the speed at which you can turn, rather than limiting to... Like, for example, if it just limited me so I could only do a little turn or a little fast adjustment. So if I hit and then just made a tiny adjustment, I'd be less worried. So like, I'd start the hit and then do a little adjustment. But it's not. What's actually happening is I'm going in and then, I'm missing, because what I want to do, say that's an enemy, I want to start the hit and move sideways as a hit. Basically, what I'm looking to do is strike while strafing. And the problem is when you do that, you stop strafing. So like when if I'm going around an opponent like this, and I want to suddenly hit him, I stop strafing. So it's all about how it suddenly becomes a little impossible to keep the movement going, and it feels wrong. And I just don't like it. So, those are the two issues. Unreliable bash block is the one issue. And the second issue... Who was that? Viking Wing! Thank you for the resub. And then the other issue is I'm not in love with mortal enemies the way it feels when I move. It feels sluggish. So... Mortal Enemies Smilodon patch. People are saying I should download this, but I noticed that this only fixes some discrepancies between for people who use an archery, which is not going to be an issue. Oh, I finished my coffee. Did I read your big comment? No, sorry. So... What shall I just disable? Oh, if I disable Wildcat, I'm probably going to end up with all sorts of issues coming up, because I've probably got a bunch of compatibility patches.
Oh right, yeah, of course.
Oh, it's not having a fit yet. Why is this active download? I don't.
My life is but to serve you, my lord.
Where is this active download? There is no active download. You're lying to me. I may have broken Vortex. I've been using and abusing it, something horrible, for some tutorials I'm making, and I may have totally ruined it.
You just had a big race up.
Shiroi Gaijin, yeah. Thank you for the resub, mate. I got it. I'm beginning to feel like an old pair of socks. This is annoying, actually. Alright, let's file name. Mortal enemies. Smile it on patch. Paused! Alright, we'll resume it. Let's failed. Fine, then cancel. But as I said, it's for archery, so can't you just start a new profile with your current load order? Not totally sure. I have not been testing the profile the profile system in Vortex, and I am not about to start right now on a live stream. Absolutely not. Not on an alpha thing like this, especially since I'm actually in the middle of recording for a tutorial, and I cannot afford to ruin my Vortex installation if that's an option. But it doesn't look like the plugins caused any issues, so that's good. So we've not got Wildcat installed now. Let's see if that fixes the issue. I don't think it's going to. I think it's a game issue. Since Mortal Enemies is changing turning speed, you can always up your mouse sensitivity. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't have to keep pressing a button every time I strike, sort of thing that lasts for a second and a half. And I mean, I could macro ways around this, but I'd rather just remove it and put up with the enemies who can always hit you. I can work around enemies that have auto aim. I can work around auto aim enemies, and I'd rather do that than start coming up with hacks for the mod. Alright, so this is no Wildcat. But as I said, I'm 99.9% sure it's got nothing to do with Wildcat. Why was I invited to this channel to watch Gopher disable Wildcat? We're just mod testing. Alright, so normal bot, let's go. There you go. Fast block bashing is just, it's, if I really just try my quick block bash, it's not working. It's the game. It's just different to Skyrim. Unless, I mean, I don't think Ordinator's going to be messing around with that, is it? Ordinator is not going to be messing around with the speed you can block and then bash. Right? Am I wrong? We got the mod author in. It's not going to mess around with the... Here's, you know, if you're wondering what the hell is going on, I'm having two issues. One is definitely not an issue with Wildcat because it's to do with turning circles while attacking, and that's mortal enemies, 100%. The other issue is in some combat, I've been noticing I'm doing it now. I'm block bashing, but I'm block bashing quickly, and it just doesn't respond. So what I have to actually do is block bash. Block bash. Which, you know, I mean, as long as I know this, Viking Wing, thank you very much. As long as I know this, I can just adopt my play style around it. And the fact that Leonard is lousy at block bashing is just down to the fact that he's a lousy fighter at the moment, and he will get better. And I can work with that. That's absolutely nothing to do with your mod, mate. We're just disabling it to be like a gazillion% sure, that's all. So please don't take that as any bad thing. You can't actually jump and block. It's kind of annoying. I feel like I want to jump, block, bash. Combat in Skyrim feels really clumsy compared to some things now. I mean, maybe I'm playing too many other random things where it's kind of cool. I'm definitely not getting like a Warframe vibe here. I'm not going to be able to like double jump over a wall, block and slash. You can't jump and do anything. I know. See, there you go. It's still happening. I'm pressing the block bash as fast as possible, and it's not working. I'm just going to have to adjust my play style for Skyrim Special Edition. Let's think of it as a way to make life more interesting. Yay! You can't bullet jump. I know, it's terrible. We need bullet jump for Skyrim.
Disabling Wildcat. Did you try disabling mortal enemies?
Well, no, that's the next thing. That's the next thing. Let's get out of here. He is going to play Dark Souls instead. He isn't. Okay, there you go. Problem solved, stream ended. Well, that's one problem. Well, not problem solved. Problem realised. Absolutely no. Wait a minute. I've had a lot of fun blocking with combat behaviour improved. Makes blocking much more responsive. Combat behaviour removed, but it probably conflicts with mortal enemies plus TK dodge. Alright, well I'm not using TK dodge, and mortal enemies is an option to remove. But if you're saying blocking is more responsive, okay, combat behaviour improved. You're looking that up right now, aren't you, Koroko?
Hey, how do you, what? No. I've been Googling this entire time, the issues you've been having.
Yeah, I can hear the typing.
Sorry.
Jump and sprint at the same time. That might be something I put in. There are plenty of mods on... You're probably going to see a bunch of mods that I've downloaded to have a look at various points. Tried a few of them. I am considering all sorts of things. Character behaviours enhanced. You can jump, attack, and sprint. Oh, really? I hope you're looking that one up. Gotta go. Thank you very much, Orbus. You can't even untoggle sneak at the same time as doing anything else. Like taking a hit, jumping, striking, letting one rip. Okay. Odd comment is odd comment. Ellie Mom! Love your stuff, mate. Thank you for all your great vids. Thank you very much. I prefer the new cheer sound. Little clapping. Than the whole bits
like
one and whatever it was that used to come up. That was annoying. All right, so now we've got Wildcat back in, and we've got, oh god, I've got this set all wrong. Can't stand alphabetic order when looking at my load order. It bugs me. It just does. It bugs me. Something rotten. Right, so let's try it without mortal enemies now. Did Skse64 get an update for the game update? Yeah, I believe it did, but I wouldn't know because I didn't update my game. Or, well, no, wrong. I did update my game and rolled back to an older version of the executable. You should always keep copies of your executables either by hand or there is a mod that will do it for you. There is an SKSE plugin mod called, I think it's called Skyrim SE.exe backup by, isn't it C? Is that a C Dante mod? That could be a C Dante mod. I don't know who did that, but it could be. That could be a C Dante mod. If you're not using that, use it. It's become essential since the Creation Club, in my opinion. Oh, most SKSE dependent mods will need an update for the new SKSE. Really? Why? What have they done? Skyrim needs a wall run mod. Yeah, I want that now. I want bullet jumping, wall running, wall latching, double jump. I know there is actually a double jump one. Parkour for Skyrim. Yep, no, we want Warframe Parkour 2.0. Movement 2.0. Have I looked at Skyrim SE quick loop menu? You remember me not like? You remember me liking that? Oh yeah, I've looked at it. I'm going to start adding more and more mods once I'm completely happy with the base core. And I'm only going to add mods as I see problems. So things like quick loot, it's something I loved, but it's not a problem at the moment. So I'm going to add that once I've isolated all problems. I need Warframe Skyrim. Probably people who don't know what Warframe is are thinking, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, once you get used to movement in Warframe, playing other games feels a bit weird and clumsy anyway. So, you don't get the same issue as Gopher in SE. Just testing it. Well, that's a little odd. Oh. So. Yeah, I mean, like, now I'm just turning, so now I can feel I've not got mortal enemies. See, now I could... There you go. Let's have combat with a potato plant, right? I can strafe and hit it. And that's the thing that I'm having issues with. That's the reason I take issue with this. I like the fact that it sort of makes you commit. When the enemies do those great big, you know, power attacks, it gives them some sort of commitment. I'm not totally in love with how much it restricts my movement, because if you look at this, even without, this is the vanilla game. When I can turn a little, but it's not like I span on the spot. But for the enemies in Skyrim, you will get them doing power attacks, and you can step all the way to their side, almost behind them, and then they'll spin and hit you. They've really got this insane turning circle, right, when doing power hits, and that's why I like mortal enemies. But as I said, just things like this, fighting this potato plant, I can strafe the potato plant, and I can keep it. Oh god, that feels good. I can't even tell you that.
Looks natural too. Like it feels.
Yeah, it's. I feel so more agile doing that. Just being able to look at it and hit it and strafe it and boom. See, that is one dead potato plant, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you kill potato plants. Ultimate Combat 3.0. It has mortal enemies but better. Okay, yeah, but there is another version of mortal enemies, right? So that's what we're thinking. But we need to test these. Right, let's test the blocking, right? Slow blocking, block bashing. No, still same thing, same thing. I'm doing really, really fast. Now, someone said they don't have the same issue in their game. Is it just the fact that I'm pressing it a lot faster than you? How fast are you pressing your block bash? My block bash, I'm almost rolling my fingers. I'm trying to give you an idea of how fast I can when I press them. You can hear a slight delay between the clicks, but like there, that you can hear the delay. I'm right next to the microphone now. See, sometimes it works. So you can hear I'm pressing it bloody quickly. That's generally how I worked in the original Skyrim. I could do that. I could block bash at that speed. Oh god, now I can't. Now I can't do it slowly. Potato combat.
Someone said that they block bashed very fast and had the same problem as you.
They had the same problem as me. There you go, guys. It's the game. The game is not letting me do that. And you know what? That's perfectly reasonable as well. That's just learn a new mechanic. It's just learn a new mechanic. And as long as I know what I've got to do, I can get around it. Especially if, when I attack, I can actually move my mouse. So, there you go. One problem not solved, but now at least we know for a fact that it could also be the game doesn't register fast clicks. That's basically what I'm thinking. Hello. There is one thing. There was one moment in that video where it was not detecting anything. I was like trying my best to hit, hit with a normal hit. And it doesn't matter how fast I'm clicking this mouse button as fast as I can hit it. And there's just no way. It's obviously I can hit two buttons spaced apart like that, like I just did, and nothing happened, faster than one button because I'm using two fingers. Maybe if I used two fingers on one button. Oh, that feels weird. Oh, that doesn't actually work. The actual mouse button doesn't come back up fast enough for me to press it that quickly. It just doesn't, because what I'm doing is I've got two fingers on two buttons and I'm pressing them one after another really quickly. So.
Did you see that cheer? They said that they've been having problems too.
Right. I've been having alt tabbing to a completely vanilla save, and I've been having that issue with block bashing. There you go, guys. Thank you very much. This is why live streaming these things sometimes is better, because you get feedback that tells you stop worrying about it. Here's the thing. When I was playing Richard, I almost felt like I could press both buttons at once. It almost felt like that. Like I could quite just go forward and press. But am I getting another texture issue? There's a texture coming through there. Okay, what the hell is causing that? I wonder if that's reproducible. Let's quit and come back and have a look at that. Wait, what? SKSE requires update because the recent Skyrim SE update messed with how SKSE reads the game files. That every update does. Reads the game files. Well, actually, it's how it needs. They need to update it each and every time anyway. Secret textures. Right. Okay. Let's just. I'm not going to change anything. I want to go right back in. Maybe it's a bug in Aldrin that SE fixed. I doubt it. Usually you don't take controls that are fluid and make them less fluid. But you have to remember they did change the engine a bit. So have you tried one click with fast follow two click but hold button in on this one? I have no idea what you just typed. If I was having an issue with SKSE, the game would not even start in. It's not an issue with SKSE. Oh, none of these issues are issues with SKSE. SKSE, you got to remember, I'm running the old version of Skyrim. I've not updated, or I've rolled back. So this is the same. Right, what was I doing? Oh, I was checking.
Looking for textures.
Texture was over there, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. Right. So there is a bit of a funky texture. Oh, that is weird, isn't it? Alright, okay. Some mice and keyboards have a limit on their inputs at the same time. Oh, they do. And my gaming keyboard is not a good one. I'll tell you this now. My gaming keyboard has a limit to how many keys you can press at once, and it's not a good number. I don't know what most gaming keyboards actually do now, but I think you can press, like, you can pretty much mash your fists on it and it'll detect every button you pressed. Whereas my keyboard is so damned old, it's a limited number. So honestly, it hurts me to say this, but I need to find something more modern to replace this, which is a shame. I know, it's a shame because this one I've got now is actually a version someone actually sent me. They found it and they bought it and they shipped it all the way across the world for me, and I love it because it's just a cleaner, nicer, and functioning version of the one I had before. Because I've been using this sort of keyboard now for oh god, it's gonna be 20 years. It's 20 years. Good grief. So yeah. However, yes, 50 times, but didn't read it. However, my mouse, on the other hand, is a G903 Logitech PowerPlay mouse. It's pretty much I mean, I know there's probably more expensive mice out there, but this is what you would call top-range mouse. If this has got problems with multiple mouse presses, I think we'd know about it by now. I think people would have been reporting this and it would have been a bit of a scandal. Yes, indeed. And yes, it's a really good mouse. Actually, it is. And PowerPlay is so nice. It is so nice. It's expensive, but if you're someone like me who uses your mouse all the time, PowerPlay is just... Well, for those of you who don't know, PowerPlay is a system that recharges the mouse wirelessly while it's sat on the mouse mat, which is phenomenal. So what actually happens is you've got a mouse mat, but the mouse mat sits on a very thin, I don't know, hard mouse mat, I suppose. It's like a double mouse mat. You wouldn't notice it. It's not that thick. It's about the same thickness as a mouse mat. Here's what it feels like. A good quality mouse mat with a small device attached to one corner and a USB plug goes into it. So there is a wire to the mouse pad itself. But and your mouse talks directly to that little unit. So it's instead of your dongle. I know I got thank you very much, Asinito. It's like the dongle you have for detecting the mouse is actually right next to the mouse mat. So you get absolutely superb reception. Not that that's ever a problem with these mice anymore. However, whilst the mouse is on that mouse mat, not only is it communicating perfectly with this device next to it, it is charging. It is being kept at, I believe, between 60 and 80% charge all the time. I have not had to plug this thing in to recharge it since I got it. So it's really, 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 really nice. Okay. But it's a bit expensive. But for someone who needs a wireless mouse, and God, I need a wireless mouse. Otherwise, I can't stand my mouse catching on things. I mean, that bugs me beyond all imagination. But there are two things. My desk is so messy because I have so many keyboards and so many mice and so many other devices and so many microphones that my mouse would constantly catch. Not only would it knock my game, you can hear it on the microphone. So I try to basically remove as many possibilities of me bashing into anything as possible, and having a completely free wireless mouse and never having to worry about it suddenly cutting out on me mid-game is just... well, it's nice. Okay, let's try Mortal Enemies 2.0 test version. Hackfield, what? What's the point of using a wireless mouse if it's always on the mouse mat, which is always plugged in? No wires. You don't have wireless mice so you can wander around the house using it in various different places. Well, no. Hey, some people do. I didn't have a wireless mouse because I used my mouse other places than the mouse mat. I used a wireless mouse because there's no mouse cord to drag and get caught on things. Or to affect the movement, because the cord will drag, and occasionally, I mean, on some of them, the cords were so stiff that they would, if it had caught itself on something else, one of your keyboards or one of the other devices, it would actually turn the mouse if you took your hand off it. So it's freedom of movement. That's what it is with wireless mouse. That's the only reason I've ever used a wireless mouse, is freedom of movement. It's the complete freedom to move the mouse without any chance of catching on anything at a crucial moment. And I did this even before I was recording as well, because you know, catching your mouse on something or just having it drag even slightly would affect your aim ever so slightly. So, all right, so Mortal Enemies 2 is now installed. Are we taking bets on how long this stream is going to be? Not that long. Combat behavior improved. Out of curiosity, did you check it up, Bodico?
Yeah, I'm looking at them. I'm looking at character behavior and combat behavior now.
Does it sound interesting?
It sounds, how do I phrase it? Like cleaner than Mortal Enemies?
Okay. You're trying to be nice, aren't you, to the mod makers? No, I get that. I totally do. I totally do. It's always
Not
nice.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, wait a minute. I was actually going to try and find the problem of my texture. Okay, right. So we've got Mortal Enemies 2 in now. Should we continue attacking the potato plant then? Let's see. Oh. Oh, it is different. Okay. I can turn. I just can't move. But it's actually better. So I can't. It's like I'm strafing, and I can still turn to face the potato plant better.
It looks alright.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, when I was fighting before, I could attack and keep going around it at the same speed.
Yeah.
What's happening now is, I still think I prefer the vanilla feel of movement, but this is better. This is, I have control over my sword now. Okay, let's try power attacks. I do. Oh, okay, I do have some control. Yeah, I've got a bit more control now. It's a tough one. But it changes the movement. But that's it. Like you know when you block, it slows your movement down.
Yep.
Well, what this does now is it slows your movement down when you do normal attacks. Whereas I think the base game only does that when you do a power attack. Now it does it when you do a normal attack, I think. You can disable seeing an enemy's level via MCM in Moorhood. Yes, you can. The Nordic potato famine. Yes, I'm killing all the potatoes. So, right. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I definitely prefer Mortal Enemies 2.0. The question is... All right, let's help Bandit. Bilias at me. 684 CD. Did I do that? Did I do that wrong? What? Did I do that? I fail at console. Okay.
Sorry, I wasn't watching. I was reading.
Place at me is the wrong. Do I have to do player dot over this one? Do I? I do. Okay, good grief. Player dot. I'm sure. Do it. Have we always had to do that? Is my brain just.
Yeah, we do.
We've always had to do it like that. We've always had
I'm
to.
sure it's always been player dot place at me.
Oh, okay. For some odd reason, I just thought it was. We could just do. When it under D5, 5 D3 1. Okay. There we go. Right.
You picked a bad time to get lost, friend.
Okay.
Like the bite of a flea.
Okay. Yeah, oh, I do prefer. Now I want to see him do an attack. Can I get out of his way? Okay. Okay. That's. Okay. See, I'm. Oh, this time I got too close. Go. All right. I feel like I could get out of his way still, which is what Mortal Kombat's supposed to allow you to do. It's supposed to let you sidestep like I did there. But I can now turn... Okay, this I...
Lucky hit.
Okay, this I could actually get used to. This is... Is he out of stamina? I feel a bit more fluid than I did before. Come on, I want him to do a power attack. Okay, this is definitely better. I think Mortal Kombat 2... Mortal Kombat. Okay. I tried my fast bash there. That is not working. See there, he did a power attack and I just sidestepped him. That's what you use the mortal enemies for, so you can sidestep them when they do those stupid attacks. But this time I still felt like I could attack and hit at the same time. Okay, that is a lot better. That is a lot better. Even goofing around there, that was a lot easier to control. But you see, that power attack he did there, in the vanilla game, had he done that, and I just tried to step to the side, he would have continued around and hit me with it. They've got this sort of auto-aim tracking, like a heat-seeking bloody sword. That I like. I actually like that. And it felt... Even though I can't do the strafing as much... N.I. Scion just resub for 2 months. Thank you very much, mate. So yeah, I do. I like... Okay, I think we're sticking with that. Because then it's not too big a change. Stream over, guys.
Yeah.
Stream over. I'm not saying this other mod isn't a nice idea, because it might be. But I think... This just seems to work. That I could work with, I think. I think that was something I could actually work with. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, that was relatively painless. So, Mortal Enemies 2.0 feels like a good balance between not being able to be moving and diving around like the vanilla game. Because, of course, the thing is if we're stopping the enemies from doing those turns and being super movement related, super movement capable, it's probably good that it restricts me in some respect as well. Because if I could strafe at the same speed whilst hitting as before, I probably wouldn't need to time it. Whereas what I had to do there was as he attacked, sidestep, and then one side sidestepped, attack him. So I needed to get a bit better timing, which felt kind of cool. I'm liking that. Take a look at character behavior enhanced yourself. Okay, we might do that. We might do that. All right, let's...
I mean, that looks interesting. Character behavior one.
Okay. Character behaviors enhanced. Okay, let's try it. Let's try it. When's the next episode? It was today. You already had it. Okay. It's a behavior animation mod that enables new actions as well as providing a few third-person animation enhancements. Mounted casting, underwater combat, nice. Attacking while jumping, very nice. Blocking while staggering. And attack feint to blocking. Okay. That does sound slightly interesting, doesn't it? It's make combat a bit more varied. Forget the mounted casting, but block while staggering. While a player can do this in vanilla Skyrim, NPCs cannot, leaving them vulnerable to being staggered, locked when using mods that stagger an actor on each hit. Oh, right, okay. So the player now uses the same stagger state as the NPCs, which now has smoother animation blending, okay? Attack feint to block. Have you and your enemy started an attack at the same time? Now attempting to block during the short pre-weapon swing interval will cancel the attack and quickly and smoothly... Oh, so you can cancel block attacks with a block.
Yeah.
Third-person animation enhancements, correct aimed attack. This does look nice. It's not compatible with Finesse, not using that. And other behavior-based mods such as TK's mods. Is that TK Dodge?
Yeah.
Okay, character behavior. I need to disable mortal enemies, obviously. Not compatible with TK Dodge and Finesse. That's sad. Yeah, well, Finesse is not something I particularly need. So, although it does restrict, and of course that does restrict me from using it in the future, but there is one mod I'm thinking of using, which is a mod that replaces the sneak animation. And, I mean, I don't sneak in third person ever, but I guess occasionally if I take a shot when Leonard is sneaking, it might look... Because the sneak pose in Skyrim does look a bit odd.
Yes, it does.
Somebody described it as basically going to the toilet.
Charming.
Yeah, so...
They're not wrong, though.
Okay. Finesse will be necessary once I finish making your coin flip animation. Oh God, really? You're gonna make an animation for the coin flip? Oh God, and that will need finesse. Oh, that is tempting. I mean, a coin flip animation on that coin would be pretty damned awesome. Oh. Now I'm having second thoughts about this mod, even though I've not even tried it. So even if I'm worried about trying it now and liking it, because now he's going to make a mod that does the coin flip animation. All right.
Uh-oh.
I know. Oh, right. Tell you what. Before I do anything else, what I also want to do is look at, where was it? Ruins clutter. Right. Let's change the rules on this. So it should load it before SMIM, but after enhanced lights and FX, right? Because the thing it's trying to fix is the candle textures. The candle textures for ELFX were a bit balked in one of my videos, and people pointed it out and said this will actually improve it and fix it and have various other things. But then, so I need it after ELFX. I do hope that's actually even possible. Mod rule contains cycles. That is not right, because ELFX currently is set to load after SMIM. So this is not actually a possibility. It needs to load after SMIM, unfortunately. Before SMIM and ELFX after both. All right. Okay. So, but if ELFX is after both, isn't that going to barf the candle thing? Isn't the candle... Isn't the reason for using this... okay, let me... All right, so it's got to come before both of them then. Because ELFX is coming after SMIM. That it has to do. RCI before SMIM and ELFX after both. So, all right. Okay, well, let's... This might still leave me with the candle issue then, surely. Disable the candle message from ELFX. Because I think that's the problem. Is people were saying that there's a small problem with SMIM and ELFX, the candles, but that Ruins one fixed it. I don't know. And it's doing lighting. I'm not doing lighting. We're having a look. We're killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah, I mean the model that says to overwrite ELFX.
That's what I thought. Because apparently it was the candles. The candles on the... Well, we can check that. Let's go and have... Well, let's go and first of all see if it actually fixed my texture issue. Because it might not have. Oh, it has. Oh, no, it hasn't. No, so it's nothing to do with that anyway. It's nothing to do with that. Look. Whatever it is that's causing that texture problem, it's not the placement of that. That could be SMIM, I suppose. Alright. So this is without Mortal Kombat. Yeah, so this feels very vanilla to me. Oh, I can jump and hit though. Okay, can I jump and block? No. Oh. And when I land, it doesn't block.
Oh. Well, it might be something to think about for the future. Keep an eye on them. See how we update.
Because, like, for example, now if I jump and then block, it's not blocking afterwards, which I think the vanilla game does. I might be wrong actually, but I can jump and hit, which is kind of cool. Whee! What else was that? Oh, I can start hitting and then block. Does that have to be with a shield? Does that have to be with a shield? No. Yes, it does.
Sorry. Stop being useful, sorry. Yeah.
Yes, it does. Okay, so I can start the hit and then block. Start the hit, cancel. Okay, that I like that. I do like that, but oh no, I can do it now. I can do. Okay, no, I can do it. Maybe it's just that. Maybe I was doing it too slow. Because it's a very fast hit. Yeah, I think it's. Okay, let's do it. Let's do a power hit. Ooh, I like that. I do like that. Now you can't cancel it mid jump though. Okay, Oh, I do like that. That is nice. That is, I gotta tell you, that is a very nice idea. You know, you're facing that deadly potato plant, and you go, how about, and then cancel. Psych. Oh, I like it. Do the enemies respond to your feint, though? That's the... Do they respond? Because if they do... Because it would be kind of cool to sort of like feint and attack, block, and then block bash. Because you'd get them into the into a bit of a stun. This mod screws up feeding animations for vamps, though. Oh, does it? Oh, all right. Try it on a guard. The problem I have with it is you really have to do it quickly. If you don't get it, oh wait, Wait, have I got... Am I seeing through my sword? Never noticed that before. I'm seeing through my sword.
Oh wow. No, it's not. No, it's not a shadow. Oh my god, I've never noticed that.
I wonder if that's a mod I'm using or if that's just Skyrim SE. That looks like ocular occlusion going wrong. Yeah, it's only within a certain position. Okay. Okay, right, here's the thing, guys. I like the concept, but people are saying it's incompatible with some things, and also it messes up the vampire feeding animation, so I think we just keep our eye on this one. Yeah, it is. I tell you what, though. You have to get it quickly. I bet it's easier when doing power strikes. Oh, it is. Oh, it's really nice for cancelling a power strike, though. That is... Oh, it's a kind of a nice way to make some distance up as well. You could sort of go for the power strike, feint. Oh, I missed the feint. Because you can sort of like get in there and then block them right in the face. But you really can't wait too long. Oh, I think maybe you also need your stamina. I like it. I like it. I like it. Does it cancel spellcast? I don't know. But Lenny's going to be a vampire. I've really not thought that far ahead. But there are going to be vampires in the game. I know most of them don't feed. But the thing is I don't like the idea that it's causing conflict with vanilla things. The fact that it might cause a conflict with, say, coin toss animation is one thing. The fact that it might conflict with vanilla stuff means a little more for me. But I do like that. But it doesn't seem to stop me from moving when strafing. So I think I prefer Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal. That's it, isn't it? From now on.
Mortal enemies.
I know. Try on a bandit. No, I don't. There's no need to try something that I'm probably not going to try. Okay, Ruins Clutter improved. I'm going to set that back to how it was. He'd said load it after SMIM, right? Before in-hand lights and FX. Which is what I was doing.
Yeah.
So that isn't the thing that's causing the problem there anyway. Oh, that is a shame. That is a shame. I like some of the things in that. I do, and I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on it. But for now, could you try throwing weapons light? It's one of the things that I have given some thought to, but I noticed some potential bugs mentioned in that mod, specifically with if you try and pick up daggers or something. No, I think it was if you have a mod that auto picks up those daggers because of the way it works, it can cause some crashes. Now, I'm not going to use such a mod, but I'm automatically a tiny bit wary of.
They want to back the Stormcloaks, they'll get what's coming to them.
Okay.
Got some good.
Just looking at the video. But it does look good. But yeah. It uses the spell animation, isn't it? I think there is actually another animation possible for it.
I was the newest companion until you came.
You still need to prove yourself.
Guess that's okay.
It's not too bad. I mean, it's definitely a good idea, and I prefer it to bows for my current character. But I need to research this a lot more. I always wanted to watch a YouTube video on Twitch. So yeah, light needle bow and Nexus looks pretty neat. I've also look. I've given some. I'm going to give some thought to that, and I will test it out. But I'm not testing it out today. We're not. This is not an endless stream, guys. This is not an endless stream. So I am. I am definitely, and yes, I am thinking of. I think it's called the Guild. No, it's not. No, I'm not. I'm using Opulent. I've got to remove that actually. Opulent Thieves Guild. I should remove that one. Where has it gone? You guys again, sneak preview of the mods I've installed, because obviously I'm a little ahead in the playthrough. Shadow Mark.
So we've pretty much addressed what you wanted to address.
I have, right. Here's it, right, guys. There's a few other things. I've got Shadow Marked actually on my list of things to look at. Someone's just suggested that. Quick loot, crossbows. I am thinking a mod that adds crossbows to the vanilla game, because I think the crossbows are only in Dawnguard, aren't they? It's like literally the Dawnguard use it and no one else. So a mod that adds crossbow to the vanilla game, and maybe I could see Leonard maybe using a crossbow, but I'd actually prefer to find a mod that adds, you know, little the handheld crossbows. I remember that one for vanilla Skyrim. Because Leonard is not going to be an archer or a ranged character much, but it is always nice to have the option, yeah? It is always nice to have the option. But I've deliberately made Leonard in such a way that he wouldn't want to use a bow. It's too big, it's too unwieldy, it's too, you know, it's too obvious. There's a side of me actually thinking that if it didn't make Skyrim so difficult to manage, I might want to use a mod that only allows you to that, you know, when you have a weapon in your inventory, it has to be visible on your character, and you know, so he'd have a bow on him, and it would look ridiculous, and therefore Leonard would never, because you know, bows are pretty huge objects. So
yeah,
I see Leonard as sword, single sword. Maybe I could see him sword and dagger, but I'm not totally in love with the idea of dual wield. I've never liked dual wield in Skyrim, but small crossbows I could imagine. So yeah, Summer and IJ are not compatible. Is that Summer Mist?
I missed the comment. I'm not sure.
I think he means Summer Mist and IJ. Would that be Immersive Jewelry?
Maybe.
Immersive Jewelry is not. Okay. Let me just double check. I can't remember which patches I've got for it. In what way is it incompatible though? Because I've already got a lot of jewelry in game, I think, from this. So removing it now would possibly cause some small issues. Winter Mist is not yet ported. That's not Summer Mist, is it?
No.
I'm not seeing it listed as incompatible in the thing. Some level some level list overlaps. Well, I can check my my bash patch for the level list. Summer Mist enchantments might not work with IJ due to different keywords. Immersive Jewelry also adds the whole smithies can upgrade weapons and armors. No, that's a different mod I'm using for that. Do I have one what? A bash patch? Yes. Yes, and a merge patch. The merge patch doesn't do very much, to be honest. Just a couple of things in there. Some small items that just I decided I wanted to WE. Is that whatever?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means. I'm not 100% sure. So this is immersive jewelry, and it just adds a lot of variations. Left-hand rings not getting any options for enchantments. Oh, of course, this mod does allow you to have rings on 2 fingers. Oh wait, it just renames all amulets as bling. No, I mean it does add a lot of different jewelry. I mean, this was somebody suggested this because it might fit Leonard's character because it's just lots of different, bling. Shiny. I mean, it is shiny stuff, bling. I have a IJ and I don't have the smith options. No, the smithing options are from another mod called Honed. They're called from Honed. Yeah, I know NI made Summer Mist, so if anyone understands incompatibilities with Summer Mist, it's him. I'm just not sure what those are and how I deal with them. Because at this point, if I remove immersive jewelry, I've just got a lot of items that are simply going to disappear. And I'm worried how that will affect the save. I mean, it should be okay. It changes enchantment strength based upon type of material for the jewelry is made. Some mist enchants won't be applied and might conflict. Yeah, that's what I'm more worried about. But if it's just the jewelry... Just sell them first if you remove the mod. That's an option then, isn't it? That is an option. Okay, let me I'm going to write that down because that's pretty damned important. I don't want to cause issues that way. I need a piece of bloody paper that I'm not ready to write on. Okay. Yeah, all right. Bling is greater than enchantments for Lenny. Right, well, it's yeah, IJ has scripts and might break your save if you uninstall. I'm going to check it out, but I'm not going to just go off and uninstall. Just don't enchant any jewelry. Here's the thing. Lenny is not actually going to do enchanting. That is, he will get whatever he is given. Summer Mist replaces existing items, right? So if he never touches that, is it just going to mean that immersive jewelry will never get enchanted? I mean, that's... I'll have to do some research. I'll just have to do some research and try and get to the bottom of, you know, what works best. Also finding jewelry in leveled lists. I'll check the leveled lists as well. Summer Mist doesn't replace in existing items. It just changes a lot of level lists. Right. All right. I'll have a look at the level lists and see what's what is what. I can't imagine a playthrough without enchantments. Well, I mean, I do get enchantments. I'll find magic items. I'm just not going to be making them, at least not that I know of. You can probably make a patch with SSA edit. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I do. I'll be able to. I may be able to fix the issues, but it depends on how many level lists and so on. I will have to actually go in and check the details. But if it's a lot of changes and I'm going to have to change a lot of level lists manually, then it might be best for me to just find a way to remove it ASAP. Was sneak tools an option for this playthrough? It still is an option. I kind of want to wait a little while. Such a lazy gopher. Why? What's such a why? Why am I lazy?
Why is he lazy?
For wanting to go off and research this and find out whether I need to do this or not before doing it. You think I should just do it? It's not a problem. I just before I rip out immersive jewelry, I need to make sure I need to, and also make sure there's no way I can make them compatible. If it's the leveled lists, I can check them myself and see if it's something I could work around. But if the case is just it's not worth it, I may just uninstall that mod. But I'll have to figure out the best way to do that, since I have already got several items of jewelry. So, and yeah. Anyway, right. Sadly, he already got the Thieves Guild one. People are just talking to each other at this point. Yeah. So there you go then. I do have lots of other mods to consider. I'm not saying that there will be no other mods ever, but that's what I came to test. The two problems I've had, one has been fixed by changing to Mortal Enemies 2.0, the test version, and the other is just it's a feature of the game, and I'm going to have to get used to the fact that I need to be a little more patient with bash block, and it probably means I won't do it as much. Just going to have to try and get used to the timing, so... No mods ever, vanilla LP.
Ew.
Yeah. Last time I talked about jewelry, this much was never. Let's have a look. I can't see it being a dangerous... Oh, yeah, no, I mean, here's the thing. The incompatibility between Summer Mist and Immersive Jewelry is unlikely to break my save. If I leave them both in, it's unlikely. It's just a matter of Summer Mist might just not work properly with Jewelry. I'm assuming that's what it means. It's not going to be like Summer Mist isn't working for anything else. Right? I mean, I think all it is Summer Mist adds a load of its enchantments to the level lists of possible enchantments for weapons, and so does Immersive Jewelry. If I can identify the leveled list, see if any of them are conflicting and have not been handled by the bash patch, because, you know, I know the bash patch does a lot of that. And if those work, then I get the best of both worlds. If it doesn't, then I either have to decide whether or not to create my own level list compatibility patch or remove them. I missed the bits. Okay, thank you very much. Disposable dwarf. Thank you very much.
There was one before that.
And then Enderstar, before you go, could you tell me if there's any good tutorial series to help you get to know the creation kit? There are actually some videos that were released by Bethesda themselves, which are okay, to be honest. They're not that bad. They came out when the creation kit came out. They were, you know, I wouldn't say the best tutorials ever, but they were not bad. Showed you what you needed to know. Go for Gaming SSA edit could do that. Yeah, I do actually have SSC edit, and I know how to make patches. Don't worry about it, guys. I know I sometimes seem like a doddering old man, but I haven't forgotten everything about modding Skyrim. It's been a while, yeah. If you remove Immersive Jewelry, what happens to Thieves Guild quests that require to get items from Immersive Jewelry? I don't think any of the Thieves Guild quests require you get items from Immersive Jewelry. I think they just...
I'm pretty sure they did.
Oh, they do, don't they? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I think it's just because it... Oh, is that Immersive Jewelry adding those to the quests? Or is that just they're part of the level list? Oh, yeah, no, that could be an issue. That could be an issue. Why don't you use an EMB? Same reason as last time. I'm going as light as possible on visual mods until I'm in mods in general. I'm only going to be installing mods as and when I believe I need them, and I understand the what's being changed. So, for example, I have used a water enhancing mod because I saw the water and I knew instantly what needed to be changed. You know, I've now started using a lighting mod because specifically because the nights were too damned light, and I wanted to try and make the nights creepy. So I ended up I played a few episodes and just couldn't take it anymore. I don't need an ENB for anything. ENBs don't really add anything that I absolutely need at this point. The game looks fine as it is. ELFX makes the dungeons creepy and the buildings atmospheric. Obsidian Weathers makes the nights dark enough to be atmospheric. So everything's really done. What we're talking about beyond that is just icing on the cake. It's just visuals and bling, which I don't really need at this point. Maybe once I've played a while and I've got used to it and I know what is what, I might start using mods that improve textures, improve lighting, and so on. But at this point, Are you sure you're watching live if your browser doesn't say?
That's just a Moobot thing that I'm
Are you
assuming
really
Wolfclaw added.
Are you really saying you don't need a grass mod? Because you really need a grass mod. No, I don't need a grass mod, is what I'm saying. Try out Opulence Thieves Guild. Okay, look, I didn't want to do any spoilers, but you've already seen it. It's actually installed. So,
I actually figured that one might get installed.
Yeah. What was that? Your rant stream for science. Keep it going. No. I'm done. At least you don't have to worry about mounting glitch in the distance in SE like in Oldrim. You mean Z fighting?
Fighting.
There is the occasional Z fighting in Skyrim Special Edition. It's just not as bad as it was in the original one. Have you gotten the mod that lets you choose where the Radiant quests take place? No, and I did that deliberately, actually. I've taken the mod that allows me to take multiple instead, so that I can take 7 quests at once, one of each type, so I don't have to keep running back to Riften non-stop. But I deliberately didn't want to specify where I was going so that there was an element of just randomness, I suppose. Yeah.
Predictability.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that I didn't. The problem is because I've got so much knowledge about Skyrim, it's not always as easy as it might seem for me to just go with the flow and act natural. In plenty of occasions, I really do have to bury my own knowledge and desperately try and think, what would Leonard do? And sometimes having an element of random that removes that from me really takes the pressure off. Hence the coin. It does occasionally when there are moments when I'm thinking I'm trying not to put my own thoughts on this, or I just want it to be a little different. Having some random element is kind of nice. So yeah. Those 2 mods don't work together anyway. And that's the other thing. Being able to take all 7 missions is absolutely very, very useful. You just travel around Skyrim, doing missions in various different cities, come back, submit them all, and then go out and do them again. I think first of all, it takes you to different places and discover things at a more natural and organic rate, but without the constant backtracking.
I think it makes more sense anyway.
Yeah. So the only problem I have with Opulent is I can't pick up the food they placed out. Is the absence of torches pre-made or a hilarious coincidence? It's just a coincidence. Here's the thing. I suspect it's purely because of how I chose to play Leonard. I've never ever done a playthrough where I didn't do Bleak Four Barrows pretty much before I went to Whiterun. I think. Did Richard go to Whiterun first and then go to Bleak Four Barrows? He might have.
Yeah, he went to Whiterun first.
He did, right? But then from Whiterun to Bleak Four Barrows. And at no point was Richard crawling around in the dark before that, I think. It was kind of, you know, it's all of my other characters have either gone to Bleakfall Barrows early on, or have you, mind you, they all have done that, Bleakfall Barrows early on, and very rarely have any of them been wanting to crawl around, you know, houses or other places in the dark, or needed one for Golden Glow Estate, for example, without having gone to a dungeon first. I think it's just one of these things of torches seem to be in specific places, dungeons and on guards. And never really thought about it before. Yeah, I mean, you don't, do you? You can buy lockpicks in so many places in Skyrim, but not torches. And just because I've never bought a torch. Who has ever bought a torch? Who?
Nope.
No, who has ever bought a torch? Ever. You don't buy nobody buys torches. You know, because who the hell plays Skyrim with a character who's averse to dirt and dark places? Nobody does that. Nobody does that. I'm the only person who do that, I think. So nobody's ever thought, you know what, they might need a torch seller somewhere. Because there's a character going, I am not going into that dungeon till I find a torch, you know. So, of course they don't sell them. Well, of course they don't sell them. I mean, who would be stupid enough to sell a useful item? They should continue selling all the useless crap they sell, like skulls. There's people selling skulls, lockpicks, charcoal bricks, even though they're not blacksmiths. There's people selling the most useless crap you could possibly find. But why would anybody sell an item that every single solitary guard in every single solitary city uses non-stop? I mean, where would the economy be for torches that absolutely everybody's using? There just wouldn't be, would they? In case you didn't notice, that was sarcasm. You're getting sarcasm because you used all caps. How would you sell a lit torch anyways? Here's an idea. You could sell them before you light them. It's like matches. You don't actually have to set them all on fire, put them in a box and give them to people. Just thinking. So, dear oh dear. How do you feel Skyrim caters to thief characters? It seems like most houses and shops have nothing but useless junk to steal. To be honest with you, I actually think they have too much useful stuff. The amount of valuable stuff you find in people's houses in vanilla Skyrim, let alone modded Skyrim, is kind of amazing when you think about it. But if Leonard went to a prison in Riften with all the hints, perhaps there would be a guard with a loose torch around. There's guards all over the places with torches. Do you know what you don't want to do? Pickpocket from guards, especially not an item the size of someone's arm. Okay? Yeah, I don't want to give you spoilers, but pickpocket is possibly one of the hardest skills in Skyrim to actually get good at, because it's actually not hugely easy to succeed at it. So there's actually a mod that adds torches to stores. There probably is, but it became a bit of a thing. It's, you know, it's Leonard wants to find a torch. So, and here's the thing. Here's what I will say to you. Traders should be selling lanterns. Usable actual lanterns. That's what they should be selling. There are lanterns all over Skyrim. Bloody hundreds of them. You can't go into a dungeon without finding 250 lanterns. There are lanterns all over the cities. There are lanterns in people's houses, in shops. There are lanterns all over the place. No guards carry it. No NPCs carry them. And no trader sells a usable one. Then install a lantern mod. I'm going to. I've got one. My God, did the people not even... I thought everyone was an amateur detective and will have seen I've got some of these mods installed. But I'm not going to actually... I wouldn't dream of using the wearable lanterns mod whilst I'm having trouble finding a torch. Some people are going to think that makes no sense, but it does. To me, the problem with getting... There we go. Gary Host Katie. Do you want to keep going with the ranting? It's all what we're here for. Yeah, I know. But it is, hey, here's the thing, right? I mean, it's like the whole after-school special thing. I could have installed a mod that added a sledgehammer wherever I wanted it, but it became. I have got a bit of a bloody-minded streak in me. And
really? Sorry.
Shut up. I have a bloody-minded streak in me, and I when something like this happens, I want to beat it without having to sidestep it. I want to beat it running at it head on, right? I have this. I can't deny it. I do have this. There's a little side of me when you probably notice it occasionally when someone gives me sass. I tend to meet head on, like with like, and when a game makes my life difficult, I like to take that difficulty and go, ha ha ha, beat you. And then install a mod that would have made life easier for me after the fact. So it's kind of like, just to prove that I didn't need the mod, then I'm going to have the mod. Just because. Like, wearable lanterns, yes. The idea of actually having a lantern instead of a torch makes perfect sense to me. And so I almost certainly will install the wearable lantern mod and craft a lantern. But I don't think I'll actually use it as a wearable lantern. I think I'll just carry it because I like that. There's a kind of coolness to that.
Yeah.
But typical hothead Brit. Shut up. Remembers Letho's fight. Yeah, exactly. It took me an hour of fighting Letho before I actually finally just dropped the difficulty. I was so determined to beat that bloody fight on that difficulty, and I just couldn't. So, I mean, that was it. I did. I dropped the difficulty on that fight, beat the fight, and then put the difficulty back up. I mean, and I have a feeling had I not done that, I'd have still been there doing it. I can't get over how hard that fight was. But yeah, that's my nature. That is my nature. When I find something like that, I want to beat it. Once I've beaten it, then I'll quite happily mod it away. In fact, probably will mod it away. I don't mod things away because they're challenges. I mod them away because they annoy me or become irritating. It's one of the things that people wonder why I'm okay with using mods that make lockpicking easier, even though I like a challenge. Because lockpicking isn't a challenge. Lockpicking is not something that, that's it, I'm going to do this until I figured out how to pick this lock. Because let's face it, we all know how to pick a lock, and you do it a gazillion times, and you've never failed. Nobody has ever... Have you ever failed to pick a lock in Skyrim?
No.
Never once.
Never.
The only times...
Frustrating sometimes.
The only times I could possibly think I failed to pick a lock in any Elder Scrolls game ever is probably maybe in the first couple of hours when you only have like 2 or 3 lockpicks, and you might fail, and you've run out of lockpicks, and you think, oh, damn. And then you have to come back later. Then you come back later. But after what? Level 5? Level 6? Do you ever fail? You don't. You never fail.
No.
It's the question is, how long do I stay here? That is all it is. That's it. That's the thing. So there's no challenge to lockpicks. Same way as there's no challenge to hacking in Fallout 4. It's just a matter of keep doing it until you win, sort of thing. And it's just really, really boring. So those things I don't mind avoiding. But the Letho fight, no, I wanted to beat that. I wanted to beat that. Here's the thing, though. Let me tell you something. If every single solitary fight in Witcher 2 had been like that, yes, I would have dropped the difficulty or modded it. I would have. I would have just. Even if I had beaten it once, even if I had, just to prove that I could do it, spent 12 hours beating the Letho fight, I would still have cranked the difficulty down afterwards if every other fight afterwards was going to be like that, because it wasn't fun. It just was not fun. And that's the thing. Once it becomes not fun, it's like, no, I'm not bloody doing that. So, if you have to open a lock in 15 seconds, it becomes a challenge. Yeah, I mean, there are some potential ways to make lockpicking interesting. One of the ways was Skyrim Souls, the thing that gives you doesn't freeze time while picking a lock. That I actually thought would make lockpicking tons of fun, because of course you start picking the lock when the guard's not looking, and you might only have 12 seconds before he turns around or something. That's different. That is a little different. That could actually really, really, make life easier. Although again, if you're using mouse and keyboard, lockpicking in Bethesda games is a little bit more annoying than if you're using a controller. If you've never played with mouse and keyboard and you're used to playing those games with controllers, you probably wonder why it's a little easier for you. It's the force feedback. It's the force feedback and the analog movement. You can move the pick in a far more slower and sensitive manner, and you can feel it in the controller. So it was when I was lockpicking with on console, it was so easy compared to mouse and keyboard because of the analog and the force feedback. With the mouse, it's really annoying. I think I preferred lockpicking in Oblivion. I think it did get annoying after a while, or boring, but it was more challenging. There was more challenge to it.
Oh, that was the
you knock the tumblers up.
Knock the tumblers up. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
it was more fun. Got to admit. But even then, after a while, it just becomes, things like that. They become very, very boring very, very quickly, in a way that other actions are not. Some people say, well, don't you get bored of fighting over and over again? No. Well, it depends. I mean, after a while, fighting becomes kind of formulaic, so you might get a bit bored of it. But here's the thing with fighting: when you if you don't get it right, you die. Whereas with the lockpicking, there isn't sort of that kind of thing with it. So yeah. So this is Vortex. How good is it when compared to MO? You really shouldn't compare the two of them. They're just aimed at a very different audience. Very, very different audience. Mod Organizer. There are some similarities between Vortex and Mod Organizer in the fact that you can order the loose files and the BSAs the same way as you order the plugins, so you don't have to resolve conflicts when you install the mod. You can, as you've seen me do tonight, I can change which files win, like this one for example, Ruins Clutter improved. I can decide which of these wins the conflict. And I don't have to reinstall it because it doesn't install files into your data folder. So in some ways, it's similar to Mod Organizer. So that it's better than Nexus Mod Manager at certain things. But again, if you're used to Nexus Mod Manager or you're used to Mod Organizer, Vortex it's going to be different. It's a different way of thinking. It took me a while to get used to it, but I'm kind of used to it now. And, I can sort of see where it's going, and I can see why I think it's probably going to work for generations to come, as it were, when the modders that will be arriving fresh-faced on the next Bethesda game or the next game that gets a lot of mods. I think Vortex is going to work for them better than the other mod managers. But Mod Organizer's not really aimed at beginners, whether it's old school beginners, as it were, or the future beginners. Mod Organizer is aimed at people who've already modded their game with another mod management tool and now want something extra. Although I have to say, sometimes when I read comments from Mod Organizer fans, I really do feel like some people like Mod Organizer just because they feel it makes them superior to people who use other mod tools. Because some of the comments are like, Why do you use mod organizer? Well, it's far superior. It's far superior, and it's for the intelligent mod user. Yeah, but what do you get out of using it? Well, it's superior. Like, did you use the profiles? No. How many mods do you have? I have 39 mods. And many conflicts? No, they all work perfectly. Out of curiosity, what are you getting from mod organizer except for a sense of superiority? So I do notice some of that. But mod organizer does give power users far more power. And if you are a mod organizer user who uses those features, Vortex is almost certainly not going to be for you. If you're a Nexus mod manager user, Vortex might be for you, but it does take a different way of thinking when it comes to dealing with conflicts and your load order. Because it uses a very... this is the video I'm actually working on right now. It uses the loot API, actually. It uses the loot API. It's built into it. And it's got a very much drag and drop system, so you can set up the rules yourself. You can decide, oh, this ESP has a rule with that ESP, and you can sort quite a lot of things, but it takes a different thinking. Because a lot of people are probably used to just drag and drop into a position, whereas now what you do is you set up a relationship between certain things, and then the mod management tool handles it for you. It's a different way of doing things, but it achieves pretty much the same goal, at least effectively it does. But it does take some getting used to. It takes quite a bit of getting used to if you're an old school modder. Why do you use the RDO USS EP patch and the RDO CRF plus okay, patch? You can just use the CRF plus URs. Can you? Probably.
What's CRF again?
Oh right, yeah. No, I think you're right. You mean the I'm using the RDO. That's realistic dialogue. No.
Yeah, that's realistic dialogue.
Like overhaul, and the unofficial Skyrim special edition patch. I'm using. I think it's because I installed this one afterwards and never removed that one. It probably doesn't actually matter, but it might help just to remove one ESP from my thing. I'll look into that. It's almost certainly not going to cause me any issues. But the answer to your question is I probably installed Cutting Room Floor afterwards and added a patch to it and didn't remove the other one. Power users are important. They are who make mods and make Skyrim such a success. Beg to differ. Power users are not the mod makers. Power users tend to actually use way more mods than most mod makers. You talk to a lot of mod makers and ask what mods they use, and very often it'll be a fairly minimalistic mod setup. I never forget this Sky UI team. They used so few mods, really. Same with Project Nevada, although there was a lot of crossover on that team. And I mean I make mods, but in actual fact, I don't mod my game the way power users do. I mean, there are power users out there who are like 400 bloody mods or something, and all sorts of merges. And I don't ever mod my games that much. I actually don't. So, am I a power user? Hell no. So, I think assuming that all mod makers are power users is probably making way too much of an assumption. Power users, mod organizer users in general, it's a fairly select group of people. Are you going to try ADO on this playthrough at some point? That's a quest mod, not for a long time. So yeah, I mean, if you're running 750, 800 mods, you're a power user, but you're in this very, very small little bracket. You're in the top 5% of mod users on Nexus. It's, you know. And here's the thing, even people who use like 500 mods might not even technically be power users. I mean, usually it means they probably know, well, they've probably had to merge plugins. Although not always. Some people can use 500 mods, but they're not all plugin mods, so they never even need to merge them. Power users tend to be the people who like multiple profiles and sort out their level lists by hand. You know, they make a bash patch and then they go through it with a fine-tooth comb, and they want to do absolutely everything. Control freaks. Basically, very often you're control freaks. You might even be a person who's installed 500 mods, but not even really. You might just install them. You know, I like that, installing it, like that, installing it, and you're not really a power user. You just like mods. You've used a lot of them. So it's, you know, I would definitely not say power users, because the original comment was along the lines of, you know, power users are important. They are what make the modding community. They're a part of the modding community, but I'd say the people who make the modding community are everybody. I mean, you know, it's the mod makers, obviously, the power users to some degree, but also the non-power users. There's more of them. There's a damn sight more of the non-power users. So without the non-power users, there'd be no community. So, I mean, I'm not saying a power user is not important, but I don't want power users to think that somehow they are more important than everyone else, because they're not. Mod makers are not more important than anyone else. Well, you could make an argument that the mod makers are a little more important than everyone else. I mean, that's probably reasonable, actually. Yeah, that's probably reasonable. I mean, without the mod makers. Yeah, I guess. I mean, all right, fine. I'm being a bit too all into equality and inclusiveness. But when it comes to the mod users, yeah.
We're all in this together.
Kind of. Yeah.
But according to some mod organizers, it's still better.
Saying it.
Still doing it wrong.
You're still doing it wrong. Mod organizers not better. It's just more powerful.
Oh, I know.
It's just more powerful.
It's just preference, guys.
Well, it's better at doing certain things, but if you don't need those certain things, you don't gain any benefits from it. And, you know, there is a learning curve for that tool that's steeper than, say, Nexus Mod Manager. So, but for somebody who just wants to install some fairly simple, non-conflicting mods and has got very little experience, Nexus Mod Manager is better because it's just subjective. Manual install master race. You're evil. People who manually install should just do my head in. Oh, I could tell you some really annoying horror stories. Not horror stories. Annoying stories. Before I go, which I am going to do. But when mod or management tools first came out, things like Fallout Mod Manager. When I was making mods, I would make installation instructions, and obviously I did manual instructions, and I did mod management tool instructions. And after a while, I stopped doing manual instructions because it was too bloody difficult. It really, really, really was. Or I wouldn't give massively detailed manual installation instructions, because for the games I was making mod for, Fallout New Vegas, for example, it became a pain in the backside. It was like, right, open up. What was it? Was it HUD menu.xml? Find a line that states, and you had to teach people to use text editors to edit the XML files by hand and insert certain lines at certain points. And they got to a certain point when I stopped giving detailed instructions on that, and people were like, you need to give manual instructions for people who don't want to use a mod tool. I'm like, well, why don't you want to use a mod management tool? Well, that's for beginners and noobs. Experts should do manual installations. It's much better. And now I was always like, well, if you're an expert, you shouldn't need me to explain how to install it then, should you? Leave them at that. Because Because it used to, because so people would be like, I did this, I copied this to here, I put this here, and I added this file to this file, and I'd be like, you're not supposed to do that. Really? No. You have to guide them by hand in their little quest to get their mod working manually. And eventually I gave up and just gave the instruction and said, here's a nice install that will put all of the files where they're supposed to go for you. It will ask you some questions like what options do you want, and it will put everything where you need it. Just use Fallout Mod Manager. And some people really did go mental because they wanted to do it by hand. Like, fine, but you're on your own. Oh dear. I cleaned it. Where did we go? I cleaned it. Now it doesn't work anymore. Experts should edit Skyrim.esm directly. Yeah, no, but manually installing mods is, in my opinion, a fool's game. It really is a fool's game. I see people write comments and, oh yes, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to manually install mods. Really? You manually installed SMIM? Really? Like with all of its loose files? I mean, if you use the BSA, I suppose you'll get away with it. But like, what did you went through all the options and said, no, I don't want those ones, and I want the chain links there, and I prefer the pewter tankards, and you selected all of them and you copied it into your folder manually. What are you going to do if you decide you want to uninstall that? Are you nuts? I never uninstall mods. Fine. Yes, I've had these conversations.
Oh, yes. I can tell.
Here's the thing, though, right? Don't get me wrong. I used to do manual mod installation. Who's this? Someone resubbing. Miss Amy Hoyle. Thank you for the resub. I used to install my mods manually because you had no choice. Fallout. I can't remember when Fallout Mod Manager came out for Fallout 3 or when it became usable, but prior to that, I remember doing everything manually. And oh my God, was it annoying. Modding your game wasn't a problem. But what would happen is you'd suddenly install another mod and you'd break everything. And then you'd have to start all over again. Like you might have spent 15, 20, 30 hours modding your game. And then you'd install a mod. And if you hadn't made a backup, everything started to break and you just couldn't find the problem. And so you ended up just deleting your data folder and starting again. I remember modding Fallout 3 pretty extremely at one point. I mean, I was adding a hell of a lot of mods. And every single mod I installed, I would immediately compress and archive my data folder. And like bloody loads of them archived. And then I'd add a new mod and see what happened. And if I didn't like it, I'd go back to the old archive. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. Trying to get things like... Mart's Mutant mod working with, it wasn't Project Nevada, what was it? Fallout Wanderers Edition. Some people even tried to get Fook working with it, which was always fun. Along with something like, what were the mods we were using? We were always using things like interiors, lighting overhaul. There was, I think it was called Project Beauty or something. It made all the characters look less ridiculously ugly because even I couldn't put up with how hideous the default characters were in Fallout 3 back in those days. And there was a whole bunch of these mods. There was almost a base number of mods for a base modded Fallout 3. But this list was pretty damned inclusive. I mean, what you would consider the basic minimum you would need to modify Fallout 3 to be a game I would want to play now. And you had so many patches. There was a project called the Fallout Interoperability Project. FOIP. And you used to have to install, like, there were so many ESPs and you had to get them in the right load order. It was a nightmare. It really was. There were these in-depth guides in text form only, because this was way before YouTube was really a thing. Oh, let him get his rants out. I see you typing, Quorico.
Oh, I got busted.
You know, I mean, but back in those days, yeah, modding Fallout 3, I mean, it was fun, but it was not for the faint of heart. It was not. Yeah, Oblivion and OOO, that sort of thing. Yes, if you wanted to really mod your game, it was not for the faint of heart. And then all the, you know, like the mod management tools, Rybash came out, all these things, all these new tools came out. And we all started using those, and life became so much easier on every single game. I'm reading.
Welcome, minion.
We're not that young. We know YouTube didn't exist before 2006. Well, it wasn't even that. YouTube existed, but it wasn't really being used for that. I mean, you just go back to like 2009. I think that's when I started making videos. Was it 2009? I think it was 2009. For Fallout New Vegas. It might have even been a little bit later than that. And that was new. When I made my beginner's guide to modding Fallout New Vegas, that was pretty new at the time. There's nobody else. That's kind of how I got started. I just did a bunch of tutorials teaching people to mod Fallout New Vegas. And, you know, it was like no one else had done it.
You had a new subscription.
A Dapper Fox.
That's an awesome name.
That is an awesome name. Yeah. I wouldn't be modding if it wasn't for mod managers. I'm not ashamed to say it. There's no shame in saying it. There is no shame in saying it. Modding used to be a niche hobby for people who didn't mind a lot of messing around. Icy Water, thank you for the sub. You know, so it's like, you know, it's like PC gaming back in the days of DOS. You know, you really had to be a nerd to get and do it. But mod managers helped to make modding mainstream, and that is absolutely brilliant. But even then, I mean, Fallout 3, even with the advent of mod managers, was still a tough. It was still a tough game to mod because of the way the mods didn't work or were not very compatible with each other. And it was amazing how much the different modding teams and the mod authors learned during that period, because you just look at Fallout New Vegas and you can see the jump. You can see the jump in how easy it was to get all those mods working with each other. And then Skyrim just took it to the next level. I mean, some people think Skyrim's difficult to mod. Comparatively speaking, it's a doddle. And Fallout 4 feels even easier, although I suspect that was because there just weren't as many of the more complicated mods. We had all those mods. What was it? Not like Skyrim with all the Java programs that made patches. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean to be a nag, but it's almost 11 p.m.
Yeah. No, I'm going. So.
Chat's gonna hate me, but
you
got things to do. So.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. My mods are worth $0. Okay. My guess is they're probably worth quite a bit to a lot of different people. But did I just jump in on someone else's conversation there?
Yeah, most likely.
Because I just wasn't quite totally sure why that was being said. Kind of sad that my reason for not using a mod manager for some things was that you were afraid of viruses. That's not actually that sad. Here's the thing. I do this on all of my videos, like regarding like Skse, because a lot of people are always asking, well, this is a third-party executable and everything, and is it safe? It's always actually a reasonable thing to think that. Am I working tonight as well? Yes, I am. Unfortunately, my insomnia kicked in this week. It's knocked my sleep cycle. It's the weather shift, light shift specifically. So I didn't get the work done I needed to get done today. It was annoying. So...
My life is but to serve you, my lord.
Who's that? Who is that? Quadico. Oh, you're doing the resub.
I didn't want to. Because I'm so irritable about the sub sound.
Oh, right. I do not serve you. Go to bed. My life is but to serve, my lord. You'd be such a cool voice. It's Jafar.
It is. Yeah, I 100% agree there.
Do you actually have insomnia? Yes, I have insomnia. I've suffered from it for years. Especially when the weather changes from winter to spring and from summer to autumn. The light shift. Yeah, massively. And for some odd reason, it just suddenly hit me this week. I've really had difficulty sleeping. I could not sleep last night at all. I tried. I lay there for about 3 hours and then just got out of bed and came and did a little bit of work, but I was already too tired. And then I get tired and then I think, oh, I can go to bed now, but it's 5:30 in the morning and my kids are getting up in an hour and a half and I got to take them to nursery. So then I'm doing that and then I end up totally knackered and I manage to sleep during the day, but I don't get the work done. And so then my cycle's totally messed up. So yes. But usually I get over it and I now have a door that allows me to work at night. So I found when this hits me, the best thing to do is to try not to fight it too much, because the more I fight it, the harder I find it to sleep. So sometimes it's best to just stay up and either try and get some work done or just have some fun or watch Netflix. And then when I get tired, just run to bed. But that's not always easy when you got kids. So...
No.
Oh, that was a cheer. For the insomnia. I feel you there. Right, thanks, man. All right. I am going to go. I'm going to go. Bow before the door. The door. Yes. The door is love. The door is life. Do you want to know the worst thing when you're an insomniac, though? When you have difficulty sleeping? Shut up, Quadico. We've got one last thing. Do you want to know what the worst thing is? When your partner can sleep in about 15 seconds flat.
Oh, freaking hate people who can do that.
She can. She could be like looking wide awake, perfectly, like absolutely functional, lie down, 15 seconds later, I can hear the breathing shift. And all I want to do is throw something very heavy at her. I can't, it's like, it does my head in that anyone can fall asleep that quickly. Like, it's like a switch has gone off. So annoying. So anyway, yes, guys, I believe it is time to say goodnight. Say goodnight, Quadico.
Good night, Quadico.